Hello, my beautiful friends. And this is Silver from Rome. And it has been a while that I have not um, talked about my reflections here on Enlightened World Network. But here I am, and I'm back after quite a long time, almost 3 weeks, because I was very busy and I had to work. So, and also I devoted my time for the meditations. I participated in this beautiful event for the spring equinox. It was really beautiful, interesting, with lots of wonderful people. And here I am tonight to talk about something that is very dear to me, which is living in the fifth dimension. Um, and where do we start? I mean, I already talked about it. I mean, the basic techniques is that we can use through meditation and learning how to listen to our higher intelligence through a 21 day program. You will find this reflection directly on the Facebook page of Enlightened World Network. You will find the video there, and it's on YouTube as well. And so if you missed it, you can watch it. It's an easy technique, which is very effective. But I think an amazing tool we have in our hands is gratitude. Gratitude was a very strange concept for me at the beginning when I started learning about gratitude, what really gratitude is. Because I knew that, being grateful meant that I was thanking somebody for something nice, sometimes thanking myself for an achievement, or thanking somebody for his or her support. But I had not really explored the concept of gratitude, which is really very broad and very powerful. So I started learning about gratitude, about the techniques to develop this attitude, because it's an attitude, and it's something you can learn, and it's something you can expand. And it's exactly what I did. First of all, I understood why gratitude is so important, and especially I experienced the feeling of gratitude and what really this experience, this emotion, can bring in our lives, and how it transformed my life, for example. So gratitude is not only the fact of being grateful for something. It means feeling the gratitude, feeling abundant, feeling that what is being given is really like a miracle. And if we think about it, I mean, we should be grateful all the time for all the incredible things we have been given in this life. Not only the fact of being alive here on Earth, which is a wonderful experience, but also the fact that we have an incredible tool to live in this dimensional world, which is our body, because the body is an incredible machine, and it performs so many tasks at the same time, and it is continuously evolving, changing, clearing, growing. It's just amazing. And most of the time we treat our bodies, not in the best possible way, but our bodies are very forgiving. and so some of us are able to live very long lives thanks to our bodies. And but the beauty of the universe, the incredible experience we have, the fact that we're able to speak, to walk, and to think, to feel, and to get connected to other things, to other worlds, to other beings, is just amazing. So the moment we start practicing gratitude, our world expands, because we understand that whatever happens in this life can be seen in different way. So there is not one truth in the universe. There are many. So this is the everything is relative. It depends on our perspective. So gratitude changes our perspective onto the world. And but how can we practice gratitude? How can we really expand this attitude, or how can we enhance this experience in our life? And there are very simple tools. Um, for me, um, the tool that really worked for me was to devote some time during the day, possibly walking, because when I walk, I'm very relaxed in nature. And I decided to devote 3 minutes of my day to gratitude. And I would be, my plan was to express gratitude for 3 minutes for whatever was coming into my mind. And of course, at the beginning, I always repeated that I was grateful for, big things such as, okay, being alive and, having a body and having nice children, and, you know, the fact that I was born healthy and I was born in a, nice family, and I have a nice house. So, what we consider to be, the things that we should be grateful for. But after a while, I realized that I was grateful for many, many other things that I had never noticed before. The fact that, nature is beautiful, that spring is coming, everything is coming back. There are flowers, or even the rain that is, feeding the earth, or the food that comes to our table. This would have never occurred to me in the past ever. So that was not a habit I had. But and so by practicing 3 minutes a day of gratitude, I realized that the more I felt gratitude, the more grateful I was becoming, and the more grateful I was becoming, the more related I felt. And when I talk about elation, I talk about exactly a higher level of feeling, a higher level of enjoying life, which allowed me to understand what living in the fifth dimension is. Because living in the fifth dimension does not mean that we are in another world. It means we're just expanding our life beyond our three-dimensional existence. And since we are multidimensional beings, we can live in many different dimensions at the same time. And gratitude is like a ladder, is like a staircase, which enables us to climb to higher dimensions, because it brings a higher level of energy, a higher level of frequency. And so being grateful is not just something that we should learn because we have to be nice. So we have to be kind. And this is what mommy wants, or this is what people expect of us. No, gratitude is just a way to become lighter, more joyful, more fulfilled, and more expanded. And and the more we are really grateful, the more we receive. Because being grace, this is something that really was mind-boggling for me. Because in fact, I realized that I had sometimes difficulty in being grateful because I thought I was not deserving enough to receive. So there was the other this side of the coin, which was very tricky for me. So I realized that sometimes I was not grateful enough because I thought that probably I did not deserve what was I receiving. It was a very complicated and intricate situation. But then I realized that the more I was grateful, the more abundant I felt, And my perspective was changing towards a more abundant universe, and the fact that I was able to see things that I was not able to see before, little things for which I was very grateful, and which I took completely for granted in the past, and I didn't even notice. And this was really mind blowing for me, and it was something very important, which little by little transformed my life. I still use the 3 minute gratitude walk every day. If I know that I during the day I cannot walk because I'm working or I'm very busy, I try to do this in the morning or in the evening before I go to bed, or when I wake up in the morning before expressing my intention for the day. I start by concentrating on the things for which I'm grateful. And now the the list of things has expanded so much that I realize that sometimes I'm grateful also for things that probably in the past would have made me very angry or nervous. But instead now I appreciate to have them in life. For example, sometimes I also thank for my challenges, because challenges teach us a lot, especially if we see challenges as opportunities, because they challenge us to do something differently. And people tend to be very static. Most people, there are the happy few who are very creative, were born creative and always ready to change. But most people are very reluctant to change. So we love to stay in the status quo because we're comfortable. So we don't like, going out of our comfort zone. And instead, gratitude actually takes you out of your comfort zone, because sometimes behind gratitude, there are many things that are so strange. For example, the fact of really believing that you do not deserve to receive. And instead, if we understand that we are here just to receive, and that receiving is a wonderful thing, is that the more we receive, the more we can give, and vice versa, that changes completely the paradigm. And this happened to me. So from this, concept of gratitude, a whole world opened up for me, and I decided also to explore other forms of gratitude. Um, I cannot say always, but I frequently use, for example, to thank the money coming and going in my life. When I'm paying, I say thank you. Thank you to the money for being with me, because it was great to have it. And every time I receive money, I try to remember to to thank the money for coming. And this is a wonderful thing, because this has changed my perspective about money too, because now I see money as a flow, as something like water that is flowing in and out of my life, and whatever movement it takes, whether it goes out or in, I don't make any difference. I'm just grateful for its coming and going. And this has really changed also my my relationship with money, because I remember that when I was at before, still today sometimes, but when I had to pay with my credit card, it was always just that, moment of hesitation, as if it's okay, I'm buying something I love, but I have to pay. So there is a worry. Okay, now the money's going, and I don't know whether the money is ever coming back, because the mentality is that the universe is very, very limited and not abundant. And instead, by using gratitude with money, I realized that the more grateful I was, and the more relaxed I was in receiving and in giving out money. Because I remember that I was also a little bit uncomfortable about receiving the money, because my afterthought was that, okay, I'm now receiving the money, but the money's going because I have to pay the bills. So there was always something, a fear, a preoccupation related to the gesture of paying or receiving. And instead, by just putting the thank you in between, made me realize that actually this was a wonderful flow. The money was going, but then it was coming. So there was no longer any fear. That was a wonderful feeling, because every time now I take out my card or take out the money from my wallet, I look at the money and say, "Thank you for being with me. It was a wonderful experience having you. Bye, and have a good trip." That's stupid. Sometimes I feel completely stupid, but it's wonderful because the feeling I have is real. So even this, little performance sounds very strange. At the beginning, it sounded very strange to me, and I was also afraid that people would hear me, because sometimes I say this aloud, and people just look at me and say, "What's she thinking? This lady's crazy." And so sometimes I just laugh at myself, because I know what I'm doing, but other people don't know. They may be thinking that I'm speaking to a wireless connection to somebody on the phone, probably. So I say, "Thank you for being with me." People say, "What is she talking about?" But I know what I'm talking about. And it's wonderful. So this technique is really wonderful. And we can do it for exactly everything. And I am doing this also with food. And I expanded the gratitude with food to so many more things, because if we think about it, having food on our table is not something to be taken for granted, for many reasons, because um, anything can happen in our lives, but especially if we think about the whole supply chain of food, farmers, growers, uh, those who harvest fruits and vegetables, distributors, logistics, transportation, refrigeration, preservation. If we think about it, it's amazing. It's really incredible, and and we are now so sophisticated in the different kinds of food we can have, how we can preserve the food in a much healthier way with respect to the past, and the fact that we live in rich societies, and we can afford to have food on our table, even food coming from other countries. If we think about it, it's just a miracle. It's just a miracle that we have food every single day on our table, and that we can pick and choose, go to a supermarket and choose what we want to buy, and that we have so many things to choose from. And so when I started being grateful for my food, I don't do this with a prayer, because I was not brought up like that, and it's not a habit for me to just pray, before eating. But I just 1 second before I say thank you for the food I have in my table and on my table, and thank you to all the people who have made this possible, because there are so many people involved, and we have to thank them all. So this is something that really changed also my attitude to food, and that how we should respect food, that we should not waste it, and we should not overeat, and we should always have a balanced relationship with food, and that food has to be prepared with love. We are very lucky in Italy, because we still cook most of our meals ourselves, even if we don't eat at home. And but at least one meal a day is just done in the family, all together. Hello, how are you?
Good. Hi, Silver. I just wanted to come on and say hello.
Hi. I was just talking about gratitude to our friends and how we can express gratitude in so many ways.
Oh, lovely. Well, I am very grateful for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I'm grateful that I am your guest in a Lighted World Network, which is a wonderful network full of wonderful people. I'm pretty new, but I'm starting to get to know different people. And as far as I've seen, they're all amazing. And we have so much to learn.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I just wanted to come on and say hello. I'm missing you. So take good care of yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ruth. And so I was saying that even that little gesture of gratitude before a meal has changed my relationship with food. And this can happen for everything. So it changed my relationship with life in general, with money. That was something thorny for me. I was never very comfortable about, spending or receiving, and also the relationship with food, which is very important. As I said initially, we're very lucky because we still have the tradition of cooking at home, and we have the tradition of eating good food. And if we prepare, food with love, with gratitude for what we have, what we are going to eat is going to have a higher vibration. So we are going to feel better. We are not just there because we have to eat something that we enjoy, that we can use to, have more energy, to feel better, to stay with other people. And so gratitude is really wonderful feeling. And it gives us a little bit of support to live in the fifth dimension, because the feeling of gratitude, when you really feel grateful, um, that feeling is what we feel we're living in the fifth dimension. And so we should actually bring that feeling in our life every single second, every single moment. That's not easy at the beginning, because this may happen at the beginning, maybe only for a fraction of our lives. But if we practice is like going to the gym, we can, you know, create this emotion. We can create this frequency, this energy more and more and more, and we can try to stay there as much as we can. And another thing for which I'm very grateful is all the invisible helpers. We have angels, archangels, and I've learned about the serendipities. I didn't know them. I just had a horse. In the past, I had a horse called Serendipity, and I love the name. And it's a concept that we cannot explain with one word in Italian. We have to, you know, say a whole sentence to explain serendipity. So the word serendipity is very dear to me, and apart from the horse. And so somebody talked about this group of invisible helpers called the serendipities, who create the synchronicities to make things happen. Generally, wonderful things such as miracles. And so I started creating a relationship with serendipities, thanking them every single day for the wonderful coincidences and synchronicities they bring into my life. And the more I'm grateful to them, the more synchronicities and the more serendipities I have in my life, which is pretty amazing. And sometimes and sometimes things can be so amazing that I say, well, this is really a miracle. And this is something I'm very grateful for. So I'm really grateful that we have so many invisible helpers who are with us all the time. And we just have to ask, and we just have to believe and be open to any kind of possibility. I remember once one of my masters said, uh, there is nothing impossible. Not everything is explainable, but there is nothing that is impossible, which is very true, I think. So if we're open and grateful, we can really stay in the fifth dimension where everything is just flow, synchronicity, radiant health, joy, and happiness. And so this is what I wanted to share with you tonight, because it's something I was thinking about a couple of days ago before, when I was thinking about this program, and I said that gratitude really deserves a special place. And we can express gratitude during our meditations, during our prayers, while we're walking, or while we're relaxing, or just during a small break while we're working. And so we can be really grateful for the wonderful world we have been given, and for beauty, because beauty is just a symbol of love and gratitude. I think gratitude is easier than love. Um, I've talked to people, my clients also, people who have a lot of difficulties in establishing love relations with other people, so that they do not feel to be really loving, and they manage to become more lovable and loving through gratitude, because I think gratitude is easier than than love. And uh, some people have a troubled relationship with love, because they link love with romantic love, and maybe they had horrible relations with the other gender, and so these negative experiences have had a negative impact on their lives. Well, gratitude is something that we all feel in our lives at a certain point. Even in very miserable conditions, there are some times in which you say, oh, I'm grateful that this did not happen to me, and that I managed to escape from that situation. I managed to get out of that relationship. So there is always something for which we should be grateful. And sometimes, if we look back, and sometimes when something bad happens to us, we just feel victims. We don't understand why this is happening to us, why we are in such a trouble. Uh, so we always say, "Why me? Why am I in this terrible situation?" But if we look back, sometimes we can see that probably that moment was a very fortunate moment for us, because maybe through that experience we managed to arrive at another experience which was very, very positive. So we can have what we call back gratitude. So we look back and we see a situation, and we realize that through that challenge we managed to become better people, to have a better situation, to have a better job, whatever. uh, and so we should be grateful for that situation. And maybe at that time we were angry, we were not grateful at all. We 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 we, we probably um, were screaming, or sometimes swearing, because we didn't like the situation at all. But if we look back and we see that that situation has given us something really important, we should be grateful in order to change that experience. And so this is what I wanted to tell you tonight. And I think it was really an inspiration to talk about this thing, because I love it. And every time I talk about it, I just feel better, because I love it. I really think it's also very easy to do. And it's something that everybody can relate to. And it's cross cultural. So it's not something that is conditioned by culture as much as love is, because in some cultures, for example, women are not allowed to have free loving relations. That's a fact, unfortunately. And or in some cultures, children are not allowed to stay too much with their parents for many reasons. So love is something more difficult. Instead, gratitude is something to which many people can relate to, because all of us have felt gratitude at least once in our life. So please practice. And why don't you share with me on my Facebook page, Syl Ver 2009, Silver, which is written Sylver, or on Enlightened World Network. I would be so grateful to have your stories and how gratitude has brought more joy and more grace in your life. Please share, and I hope to see you very soon, for sure in 2 weeks. And I say goodbye. Ciao from Rome. Ciao.